So let's see what's coming through today in this energetic transmission. And let's see, guides. Let's see, spirit beings. It's a part of my being. Higher self. What do you want to share, huh? Now that you got your ear time. Now that you're on here. What do you want to say? I want to say that there is no disgrace in filling out yourself. You are this incredible light being that has this 1,000,000-volt spark inside your heart, and this spark, it knows the way, it knows who you truly are, and it knows your truths. And then you have all these other things that you think you have to be and follow and should and must and be to be socially accepted and a part of this whole. But the truth is that if you really want to be a part of this whole, your first and number one mission is to be who you are, because Source fragmented itself into million trillion tiny little puzzle pieces, and you're one of those pieces. And if you want to come back home, baby, first of all, you got to become one with your puzzle piece, your tiny little part of this Source creation that you are. And when everybody fills these little puzzle pieces out and become who they are of the puzzle piece, then we become one as a whole. You can only become one if you are in the vibration of oneness. And before you start looking out towards what else out there you can become one with, if it's your twin flame or God or whatever, you have to know what oneness is. You have to vibrate it in your body. It has to be you, not just an idea or a concept. And to really vibrate it, you have to be it. So first of all, that means energetically, in all these different layers, become one with you, with your core frequency, who you are. And there's this incredible, unique, dynamic thing that you are, your DNA, your sacred geometry, that you are this one expression of this whole incredible geometry, that's Source. And to be you is a multidimensional thing. It's this incredible multidimensional thing that reaches out in all the different dimensions, in the physical, in the energetical, in all different ways, in all your chakras, in all your energetic centers. There's a unique expression of your Source core frequency, force that's been expressed in these different chakras. So we're no longer then talking about like, oh, the root chakra represents stability and this and that. Like, it's not equal for everyone. It's unique. It's unique for you. Of course, there's this main themes for each energetic center, because it represents the energy there. But the way you are meant to live out your Source energy in the sacral energy, in the root energy, in your heart, it's incredible, it's unique, it's so dynamic, it's so multidimensional, and it's so you. So then we have in this freedom, in this beginning to free ourselves from all the places where we're bound. The truth about where we're bound is really the same thing as where you have bound up your unique impulses to be you. To say what you need to say, to do what you need to do, to act the way you need to do, whatever it is, to feel the way you feel, to express whatever you feel, to whatever it is. We have bound this life force inside of us that has all these incredible impulses in all these different layers of these dimensions. Like, you have your life force reacting in the third dimension, much more through your nervous system and through survival energy and through but there's all these different layers to it throughout the dimensions. But it's still your life force. It's your life force that meets something in this energetic world, in the physical world, and you can see it like it's energy just flowing towards you. And then your being, this unique thing, has a unique way of meeting that energy and allowing it to blend with your energy, and then it mutates and become a creative impulse. It becomes a mutation. It becomes something new again. You, with your creativity, can respond and act towards anything that comes your way uniquely the way you need to do. So maybe it's saying something or moving yourself in any direction, or there can be so many creative ways of responding to what you meet in this world. And we're so bound by this incredible program, this incredible kind of lid in our world, where it's like this social kind of program of all these like set ways of how we must respond and do and be, and all these things to be a part of this society. But the incredible thing, when you start to free your uniqueness up, it's like you don't even know how creative you can be with anything you meet in this world. And there's where this magic can instead come through, instead of like this generic typical response to whatever you meet, like the way you respond to different feelings or beings, or you can allow your creativity to move you. And it's incredible healing in that. Like I 2 days ago I had a very close counterpart that I work with visiting me, and I was opening my drawer in the kitchen, and he was standing next to me, and I noticed I have all this like mess in this drawer, and I noticed my body responding. It was kind of responding with shame, like, now you see, like, I have it so beautifully here in the surface of what you can see, and then suddenly you look into my drawer and now you can see something completely different. You can see how messy I am on the inside. I'm not so figured out as I would like you to believe here in what you can see. And I noticed this whole reaction, and I noticed how I was feeling shame. And then the morning after, when I was there by myself, opening the drawer again, because this is where I have all my smoothie powders and all these things for my morning smoothies, and I was opening the drawer again, I was like, so this response in this drawer is actually really this is a great metaphor and picture of me. Like, I have so many things in kind of like my self-realization process figured out, and I look kind of more on the surface, more like figured out, and but this is like these nooks inside of me where I have yet shown the light into, and I am kind of still holding shame about different parts of me, different parts of my shadow that I don't want others to see. And so I noticed that, and then a new kind of thing bubbled up inside of me, like, I'm in this process now where I really want to show these parts of me, these places where I hide and still bind up, and like have all this kind of binding of where I like have to be something on the surface, and I'm something different underneath. And I just noticed like the truth of my inner being was this like bubbling excitement of actually wanting to shine the light in there, to expand even more and to experience even more freedom. That's the truth of your inner being. Your inner being has, there's no truth in like, oh, I need people to see me like this on the surface and like not see that I'm messy, or like, that's not your inner being. Your inner being is just always this kind of like bubbling, exciting thing that just like expansion and experience and like whatever it is. So I started this like, and this is something that's been happening more and more lately. It's like there's an integration of like the inner voices with the inner being, and it's no longer really run by like the critic or these other voices from my mind or ego. Like the more and more in this awakening process, it's a more and more integration of like the voice of my inner being, which is becoming kind of like the main voice. So this voice is always like supporting me or cheering at me or like giving me advices or just really being an awesome cheerleader. And so I noticed the truth, like my truthful reaction and the reaction of my inner being. So I knew like, okay, this is where we're going. Like now there's excitement about wanting to open my drawers, my messy drawers, to people, to kind of that's always like, you can heal shame by shining your light into places where you are hiding. In the end, is always shame. Like you can have different emotions that you're kind of having inside or holding as like different kind of blockages and things, but the truth is not really about the feeling. It's about the shame you have for the feeling. It's about the shame you have for something, like the judgment, the resistance to something. It's not really about the feeling. And the feeling is free, the energy is freed when the fear, the shame, the judgment, the resistance to the thing, when that thing is kind of released, then the energy that was stuck there is like, whoo, it's the shame, the resistance is like holding the emotion there. But if there's no shame, no fear for it, then this energy that was there can just like flow free, and it's free to go move and again be integrated in your energetic body, freeing more of your life force energy, more energy flowing through your channels, freed up. And it's the shame, the judgment that binds this energy up. And that's the truth about whatever blockage you have. It's not like some kind of outside energy that came into your body and now it's stuck there. It's just a part of your life force energy that's bound up. And the more and more you shine the light into the nooks and crannies of your shadow places, of where some kind of shame or fear or judgment about something, some experience, some emotion is like holding some part of your light force down, the more this kind of grip is released, then this energy is free again, and it comes and it merges again back with your total life force energy. So there's more and more life force energy freed up in the awakening process, more and more of your magnetic being shining, more and more of your light. So I noticed my inner being's response to this kind of like, ooh, I would like to show people my messy drawers. Like other parts of me were like, oh, we need to fix this, we need to solve this part of you that's like having messy drawers. And but the inner being, it doesn't think like that. It's just like, I would like to shine the light in here and share this with the world. And that was where I was going. Like one part of healing all these places where you have the blockages is like shining your light in there, but the biggest healing of it is like shining others people's light in there, like letting other people see it, because then it's like, it's the ultimate healing of like, of something you're shameful of. It's like showing it to others too, like not just keeping it to yourself, so afraid like, what would other people think of me, or like, this is so not like acceptable, or this is like, when you show this to others and just like, it's just like, it's it's a it's a rocket in healing. It's a rocket ship to planet healing. And and so then this same counterpart came back the same day, kind of randomly, just called, and he had something that he wanted to come by with. And we were sitting talking, and then suddenly I heard my inner being again continuing on this excitement of like, I would like to show people now my drawers, like being free instead of so bound. So as we were sitting talking on the couch, this bubbling excitement came up inside of me, just like, now I'm going to just take my friend here, I'm just gonna take his hand and just like, come here, I would like to show you something. And this is a being that I like hugely respect and look up to, and like have this deep profound connection to. And so it was a kind of big thing, like first having this shame of like showing this side of me to this being, and then understanding like, ooh, there's this deep excitement about showing myself to this being. Yeah, so it was a big a ritual, this kind of like marking this like thing inside of me, this place, this little nook, this place that held an emotion held up in shame, and doing this ritual and like shining the light in there with another being. So I took him over to the drawer and just like, come, I would like to show you something. And then I opened the drawer and I just like, look. And then I even stirred around in the drawer because it's messy. It's like food powders. It's like, it's a little messy. and just to make sure that he saw how messy, like all the mess. And then I was like, look. And he was like, I'm not sure what I'm looking at here. and then I was just still in the truth of my inner being, like not needing to explain it, or like just being with this, standing there in this place where I held some shame, and it was like already blasted because I was just standing there in my truth, in the inner being. Not the moment I would have gone into the energy of needing to explain it, or then it's still coming from this like not the inner being is like excited, like, I love to open myself to you, like, look here, this is a part of me, this mess. And then I just said like, yes, I just wanted you to see how messy it is. and he was like, yes, I can. That was what I was thinking too. And this whole experience was just like one of the greatest kind of marks I've set down for myself in like how to shine the light into those nooks, and like in this creative, amazing way that you can do with life, of like how this inspiration bubbles up. And my friend instantly also kind of understood in the way I was just like, yes, and standing with this mess, like, and it just hugged me, and we just like understood each other. And there was there's always these things that happen when you follow this creative, natural inspirations and bubblings that it's always there, of how you can heal and integrate and be more you. Like, it doesn't have to, it can be, but it doesn't have to happen in like a therapist's room. It can happen in how you ritually use life as symbols, as symbolizing, as gestures, and in different ways of how you turn life into a ritual, how you turn things holy, how you how you can make things like ceremonies, and it's there available for you, in where you can break free and shift and move and shine light into with yourself and others. It's there dynamically accessible in your life, how you can play with your life and in life. So then I was healed completely, fully. Now I don't need any more healing. No, but it's like, at the same time, it's one of the most amazing feelings of like using life in this way, and other people, is the connection with others. It's where we hold the most pain as well. It's where we hide all these things, like from the world, from others to see. And when we can share these dark nooks with others, it's like also the most freeing, expansive, liberating feeling, because then you're suddenly not separated anymore in that part. You're connected, and you can connect through it and with it, and you're suddenly more there with each other, instead of being on two different islands, so cold and so separated and so hungry. Yeah, so that was just an example, a story that came up in relationship of like, the more and more I can hear and becoming friends with my inner voices, like it's no longer just like this worry critic thing from my mind running the show inside as the narrator. It's instead also this inspiration and the bubbly, very cheerleadery voice that just like, yes, it's the truth, it's the inner being, it's who you are. And this voice has always also been there, this creativity, this bubbling inspiration that's aspiring in any kind of situation. It's always been there, but sometimes this other narrator, the the mind, overrides it, so you don't hear it so loudly, but it's always there. And if you start to like not always listening to the worry bunny, the little boring guy, and that just like kind of criticizes and worries and plans, you can have a lot of fun with reality in this expansive, healing way of just like allowing yourself more and more to fully be you. There's, in any situation, there is so many ways uniquely to be you and respond and interact with reality that's really expansive and opportunities to real transformation and expansion, and it's there, right there, hands-on in your life. It doesn't have to, or your healing doesn't have to be done in the therapist room or in a ceremony, or like, it's there available every single day if you find the courage and the creativity and the bubbly excitement to kind of like break free when you notice those places where you're just like, you're even noticing it, like there's my behavior, there's this like general behavior where I typically go, and I always go, like in relationship to how you respond in an argument or relationship or wherever it is, like allow some wiggle room, some of this creativity, like your inner being, or like how you actually would like to interact and respond in this situation. And like, let's go another way in this like way, instead of this way that you walked so many other times, where like the trail is kind of like walked so what's it called when you kind of like when the trail in the forest is kind of like becoming more and more a trail because you walk there so many times. Like, see what aspires, like there's another little voice, for instance, in an argument, or this like typical place you end up in a relationship, or like where you can go like this route where you always go, or there's this other kind of like inkling of inspiration of like, what if we just like did this, or just like, what if I just break free and just like flip right now, or just like, that's the truth of your inner being, like daring to like let go of those places that you just like kind of like running on old patterns and fears and just like old stuff that's just boring, when you can like turn this thing around and make it into like this great playful ceremony in your life. So that was all for now. Enjoy playing. Namaste.